Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sapna Dadwal. I'm working as a professor in the Department of Management at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. This is my 12th lecture of business law. This subject is taught in BBA 4th semester. The topics I'm going to cover in this lecture are pledge by known honors, right of pledgee, duties of pledgee, rights of pledger, duties of pledger, difference between pledge and bailment. I'm starting with pledge by known owners. Generally, the goods can be pledged by the owner or by any person with owner's authority. This rule is based on the principle that no one can pass a better title than he himself has. This principle is necessary to protect the individual interest in the ownership of the goods. But in the following cases, pledge may be made by the non-owners will also be valid. The first one is pledge by mercantile agents, then pledge by persons in possession under a voidable contract, pledge by a person having interest, pledge by co-owners in possession, pledge by seller in possession of goods even after sale, pledge by a buyer in possession of goods under an agreement to sell or agreement to sale. I am starting first, pledge by mercantile agent. A mercantile agent means an agent having the customary course of business such as authority to sell or buy or raise money on security of goods. A pledge by mercantile agent is valid if mercantile agent is in possession of goods or documents of the title of goods. But such possession must be with the consent of the owner of the goods, and mercantile agent must be acting in the ordinary course of business, and the pawnee or the pledgee must act in good faith, and pawnee has not noticed that pawner is in defective title of the goods. If all these conditions are fulfilled in the contract of pledge, then this will be a valid contract of pledge. The second one is pledge by person in possession under voidable contract. So when a pawner or pledger has obtained possession of the goods pledged by him under a voidable contract, he can make a valid contract of pledge provided the contract is not cancelled at the time of pledge and pledgee has received the goods in good faith. The third one is pledge by person having interest. So when a person who has limited interest in the goods pledges them, the pledge is valid to the extent of his interest. For example, A finds a watch and spends rupees 20 on its repair. He pledged the watch for rupees 50. The true owner can recover his watch from pawnee by paying rupees 20. The next one is pledge by co-owner in possession. So when there are several owners of the goods, but the goods are in possession of one of the co-owner with the consent of all the other co-owners, then a pledge made by such a co-owner who has the possession of the goods is valid provided the pledgee or pawnee accept the goods in good faith. Then next one is pledge made by seller in possession of goods after sale. So if a seller who has sold the goods is in possession of the goods and pledges them, and the pledgee or pawnee accepts those goods in good faith, then it is a valid pledge. The buyer of the goods cannot recover the goods from pawnee or a pledgee. Then, pledge by buyer in possession of goods under an agreement to sell. If the buyer has not yet become the owner of the goods, but he has got the possession of the goods under the agreement to sell, and if such a person pledges the goods and pledgee or pawnee accepts the goods in good faith, then it is a valid pledge or valid contract of pledge. For example, A buys a radio set from B on hire purchase system. A has not yet become the owner because he has not paid the full price. If A pledges the radio set with C, if it is valid pledge, provided C has no knowledge about the defective title of A. Now the next topic is rights of pledgee or pawnee. So pledgee is a person who is the receiver of the goods. Now first right of pledgee or pawnee is right of retainer. The pawnee or the pledgee has the right to retain the goods pledged until their dues are paid. So pledgee has the right to retain the goods pledged not only for payment of debt or performance of the promise, but for the interest due on that debt and all the necessary expenses incurred by him in respect of the possession or for the preservation of goods pledged. Thus this right may be termed as pawnee's right of particular lien. Now the second right is right of retainer for subsequent advances. So when the pledgee or the pawnee lends money to the same debtor after the date of the pledge without any further security, it shall be presumed that the right of the retainer over the pledged goods extends to the subsequent advances. Then right to extraordinary expenses. The pledgee or the pawnee also has the right to recover from the pledger extraordinary expenses incurred by him for the preservation of the goods pledged, but he cannot retain the goods if such expenses are not paid. He has only a right to sue the pledger or pawner for recovery of such extraordinary expenses. The next right is right to sue the pledger on the default of goods. Where a pawner or a pledger makes a default in the payment of debt or performance of promise, the pledgee or pawnee may exercise either of the following rights, or he can sue the pledger for recovery of the amount due to him and retain the goods pledged as a collateral security, or he may himself sell the goods pledged after giving to the pawner reasonable notice of his intention to sell the goods. Now duties of the pledgee or pawnee. The duties of the pledgee are almost similar to those of bailey, which have already been discussed in my lecture number 11. Now the following are some additional duties of the pawnee. The first one is duty not to use the pledged goods. The pawnee or the pledgee must not use the goods pledged by the pawner. If the pledgee uses such goods, he may be held liable for damages for any loss caused to the goods by such use. Then the second is duty to return the pledged goods. It is the duty of the pledgee or pawnee to return the goods to the pawner or pledger when the amount of debt has been paid by the pawnee. Now, rights of pledger. The first is enforcement of pawnee's duty. The duties of the pawnee are the rights of pawner, or the duties of pledgee are the rights of pledger. So the pledger or pawner can therefore enforce by suit all the duties of the pledgee as his right. For example, if the pledgee makes an unauthorized sale, the pledger can file a suit for redemption of goods, treating the sale as void, or for the damages for conversion. Now the second is defaulting pawner's right to redeem. A pawner who defaults in payment of debt amount at the stipulated date has a right to redeem the debt at any subsequent time before the actual sale of goods pledged. So thus an agreement that the pledge should become irredeemable if it is not redeemed within a certain time would be invalid. It's very clear from this that pledger has the right to redeem before the sale of goods. If he makes the payment before the sale of goods, then he has right to redeem the goods, to get goods back. Now the duty of pledger. The first and foremost duty of the pledger is to repay the loan on time. It is the duty of the pledger to comply with the terms of pledge and repay the debt on a fixed date and perform the promise at a fixed time. The second is to pay extraordinary expenses. If the pawnee has incurred or the pledgee has incurred any extraordinary expenses for the preservation of the pledged goods, then it is the duty of the pledger to pay such expenses to the pledgee or pawnee. Now the next topic is difference between contract of pledge and contract of bailment. Now pledge is the bailment of goods for a specific purpose, that is repayment of debt or fulfillment of an obligation or promise, whereas bailment is a delivery of goods for the purpose of any kind of repairs, safe custody, carriage, etc. In the case of pledge, parties of the pledge are termed as pledger and pledgee. In case of bailment, the parties are termed as bailer and bailee. The pledge has no right to use the goods pledged. The bailee may use the goods bailed with the consent of the bailer. So these are the main difference between a contract of pledge and contract of bailment. Now these are the questions which are related to the above topics. If any query is there, then please do contact me. If any confusion is there about some concept, about any law, then you can always contact me. And if there is any written mistake, then please ignore that written mistake. Thank you so much.